right, welcome to the first ever Tasting Through Time podcast episode. If you've been around on the channel for a little while, you know that there hasn't been much content in the last couple months because we've been working on this. And you may be wondering who this is. This is Julian. He's going to be the co-host of this podcast with me. We're not giving it a separate name because it's just going to be an extension of the channel. The other content that's on the channel is very much like snacks and different drinks and the history of those things. And this is going to be an extension of that. It's just going to allow us to talk a little bit more freely about those things. And just so you know that we're professionals. We had a cocktail history podcast with one of our other friends. Ran for what, about 2 years?
A little over 2 years.
Yeah.
It ran for 2 years straight.
Yeah.
And then we had this big comeback episode. And then we forgot to come back.
Yeah, then we never came back. But
it was unfortunate.
It was way more successful than I ever thought it was going to be.
Absolutely.
And then it was also a lot more fun than I ever thought it was going to be.
I believe the idea came about during the lockdown.
Yeah.
And I think all three of us assumed it would be like maybe 5 of our friends listening.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would look at the downloads and it was like hundreds a week.
Yeah. It turned into something a lot bigger than we ever could have possibly imagined. But all good things have to come to an end. And that podcast did. But that kind of developed into what the YouTube channel was for me because I was looking for a little side project. Because, I mean, for so long, the podcast scratched that creative itch that I had. And I couldn't just let it disappear. So I started the YouTube channel. It looked like people are fairly interested in the topics on the channel. But I wanted some other format of video because I also enjoy talking with people like you who have a love for history and drinks and food and snacks and just the culture around all of those things. So that's what this podcast is going to be, or at least I hope that's what this podcast is going to be. So yeah, welcome, Julian.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah.
I've been checking out the establishment here. We've upgraded.
We have upgraded, definitely. If you're coming from the Cocktail Time Machine podcast, you know that this is a big upgrade.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of video clips, but there was a few out there.
Yeah.
And it didn't look this nice.
No, we definitely upgraded. I think it's going to look good, and hopefully it's going to be a long-running podcast from here on out. But what do we have for him today for the first ever episode?
First ever episode. Bit of a... I don't know. Maybe people saw it coming. Maybe they didn't. Maybe people have been asking for it in the comments. I don't know.
There has been a few comments regarding this snack, especially when I put out a few videos last year on different candies.
Mm-hmm.
And then whenever, like for the Snickers bar, I did one and I saw a few comments in that video where it's like, oh, can you do the KitKat? And so we're like, you know what? This is probably the perfect time because Julian just got back from Japan. And as you'll find out later in this episode,
KitKats are huge in Japan, baby.
KitKat's massive in Japan.
It's almost unreal.
Yeah.
But we'll get into it, I guess.
All right. Well, let me get to some KitKat history because I'm sure somebody clicked on this. They don't give a shit about who we are.
That's true.
And they just want some KitKat history. All right. I got the trusty tablet of knowledge here.
Mm-hmm.
Some may say this is what the 10 Commandments was written on.
You think so?
Yeah. I saw a picture of Moses holding one of these. All right, so let's talk about the KitKat. How much do you know about the KitKat, G?
I know a little, mostly because I have also read this history. But before that, I knew it was huge in Japan because I was lucky enough that this was my second time going.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that there was a little competition, which I guess we'll talk about at the end in the Scandinavian countries up there. But other than that, I don't eat a lot of KitKats here in the States, honestly.
Are you a fan of KitKats?
I don't mind them. I just, I'm not a huge sweets person in general.
Yeah.
When I'm on vacation, I allow myself, I don't want to say allow myself, but I do indulge a little more. But
but it's not like you're not a go-to candy person.
No. And when I do, it's not usually like chocolatey candies. It's more like Mike and Ike's and stuff.
I see.
Are you a KitKat guy?
I would put KitKats in my top 5.
Really?
But I'm also a massive candy person. Like if there's candy around me, I won't pass it up, whether it be chocolate candy or like Mike and I like sugar-based candies like Sour Patch Kids or something. I can't pass up candy.
I will say of all the flavors I've tried, of KitKat, the normal one is bottom of the list for me.
Okay. Well, I haven't ventured out too far. I've only had like the white chocolate KitKat other than the original one.
Well, I got some good news for you.
We're going to try some?
We'll try a few.
Okay. I'm excited. All right, so let's learn a little bit about the history first before we start indulging in these different KitKat flavors. So it all starts in the heart of 18th century London. Amidst the grandeur of the KitKat Club's political gatherings, there was a different kind of KitKat that existed at this time. Not the chocolatey delight that we know today, and the one we've been mentioning, but mutton pies, enjoyed by the influential and the elite.
Mutton?
Mutton pies.
Okay.
So nothing to do with candy.
Got it.
Yeah. But this historical link to the KitKat name was the most important thing here. It's just, this is the first time that you really see the name KitKat associated with a food product. And everybody knew of them, even if you couldn't afford to be part of this elite club eating the mutton pies.
Have you ever had mutton?
I've had mutton once.
I've never had it.
It's nothing to write home about, but...
Nothing about mutton?
Nothing about mutton. I like that. That's the tagline. Actually, we're going to change the channel name.
Okay.
But anyway, this, like I mentioned, is the first time that KitKat's associated with something so popular, and it really enters the lexicon of the people at the time. And this was in 18th century London. All the way up until turn of the 20th century, KitKat would have been a recognizable name, but not for the candy, just for other food product. But if we fast forward to 1911, when Roundtree's, which is a confectionery titan based in York in the UK, trademarked the terms KitKat and KitKat. And it's, the first one is KitKat, but the cat is spelled with a C instead of a K. The second one is the KitKat that you know of.
Any dash between them?
No dash between the ones that I saw. They trademarked both of them. I guess they were just covering their bases here.
That's fair.
A lot of the early marketing, which I'll put on the screen for you, a lot of the early marketing did portray images of cats. So I guess they were trying to do like a play on the mutton pie thing. But yeah, it's actually some really cool stuff, and I'll pull some up so you could see it as well. But it wasn't until the 1920s that the first whispers of a KitKat emerged. Roundtree unveiled a line of boxed chocolates underneath the KitKat banner, and this is KitKat with a C. But this is not the candy bar you know of.
What was KitKat with a K doing at this?
Nothing at the moment. It's just trademarked.
I see.
Because KitKat with a K is what the mutton pies were referred to.
I see.
But they wanted to take a more approachable marketing stance here, and so they put cats on theirs. They thought it was a cute little play on words, which, I mean, it is.
It's cute.
Yeah. But their first product was this box of assorted chocolates that you'd be very much familiar with if you've ever seen any of the assorted chocolates in the grocery store.
Just like a Valentine's.
Exactly. Except this one, it wasn't a heart. It was just like a square or rectangle box, and it just had a few assorted chocolates in it. So pretty boring.
Okay. Yeah.
However, decades went on, and KitKat's prominence waned as Roundtree focused on other confections that showed a bit more promise and growth. For example, they had a line called the Black Magic and the Dairy Box, both assorted chocolates from what I could find, but they were just more popular. And I guess it was the packaging and the marketing, and maybe there was better options inside. There's not too many details surrounding these two, but they definitely were more popular for Roundtree. And this would lead to the eventual discontinuation of the KitKat with a C, that brand altogether. And we don't see it again.
Ever.
They ditched the cats.
Dang.
I know.
What's that? I wonder if they still own, like, trademark this?
They might. I don't know. That's a good question. KitKat, when you watch this, let us know.
Oh, they'll be watching.
Yeah. What is it, Nestle now, probably? Spoilers. Just skip to the end of the video. I just ruined it.
I'll tag them.
All right, perfect. In 1935, a spark of innovation ignited within Roundtree's, giving birth to the iconic KitKat, this one's with a K, as we know it today. The original four-finger bar was developed after a worker at Roundtree's York factory put a suggestion in a recommendation box for a snack that, quote, a man could take to work in his pack. My man needed a little pocket snack. Yeah, he needed something to chew on.
We could all use a little pocket snack to chew on sometimes.
We could.
You ever sneak a KitKat in a meeting?
Oh, I sneak more than a KitKat in the meeting.
All right. We won't press the issue.
Yeah, good. Who knows who's listening? But I think the real The real miracle here is that the company actually listened to the recommendation box.
Yeah, you're right.
Because if I'm not really a huge betting man, but if I was, I'd be betting that recommendation box wasn't going anywhere. I don't know of any place that I've made a recommendation that they've taken to heart.
You make a lot?
Not anymore. They don't listen.
That's true. Yeah. Have you made a lot?
I used to.
I don't think I've ever made a recommendation.
Maybe that's why they don't listen. There's nothing in the box.
They waiting on me?
Yeah. This KitKat bar that was recommended by the employee launched August 29th of 1935 under the title of Roundtree's Chocolate Crisp and was sold in London and throughout southern England. The product's title of Roundtree's Chocolate Crisp was renamed KitKat Chocolate Crisp in 1937, the same year that KitKat began to incorporate, quote, break into its recognizable advertising strategy. The color scheme and first flavor variation to the brand came in 1942, owing this change to World War II, when food shortages prompted an alteration in the recipe. The flavor of KitKat was changed to dark chocolate. It was originally just a milk chocolate, and the packaging abandoned its chocolate crisp title. It was instead adorned with blue and not red. After the war, the title was altered to KitKat. No chocolate crisp. They dropped that after the war.
Thank God.
And resumed its original milk chocolate recipe and red packaging, just as it was before. Mm-hmm. So they had to make a slight little adjustment due to wartime shortages, as everybody else did during World War II. But
they were still wrapping that baby in foil.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is like original candy wrapping and in foil. Yeah. I'll put a picture of the one that I saw on screen. So,
do we know, and maybe you'll get to it, when the foil stopped?
I don't know when the foil stopped, but that's actually another video topic that I was researching, is when did we stop wrapping foods in foil? Because like that's pretty interesting. I mean, if you think back to when we were kids, like all the candy was wrapped in foil.
KitKat.
Yeah.
What was the
Hershey's Crunch?
Crunch. Is that the one with Shaq?
I think so. Yeah.
That was.
But also, they were wrapped in like what? Oh, just silver, gold, like all kind of different foils.
Yeah. Yeah, and they had the label wrapped around that. Yeah.
There has to be a reason, whether it's like money or
maybe it's better for the environment.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
That seems like an interesting topic to cover too, but in a later episode. As time unfolded, KitKat's popularity transcended English borders. In the 1940s, it journeyed across oceans to delight the taste buds of Canada, South Africa, Ireland, Australia, and New Zealand. Then in 1958, a man named Donald Gillis, the visionary executive at JWT Orland, coined the unforgettable advertising tagline, quote, "Have a break, have a KitKat." This ignited a global craving for this beloved treat. The brand's reach expanded even further in the 1970s when Roundtree established a state-of-the-art distribution facility in Germany, and they built this facility to meet the growing demand across Europe. That's unprecedented growth, and everywhere it just says that the company struggled to keep up with demand.
Imagine being that guy.
Yeah, that came up with it. Yeah, that's you're gonna let your nuts hang on that one. I have that written down. Let your nuts hang.
I'm always looking to let my nuts hang.
So after they built this facility in Germany, they had various agreements with Hershey and other manufacturers in, for example, Japan, that would introduce the introduction to the U.S. and Japan respectively. This marked pivotal milestones in Roundtree's journey to dominate the candy market across the world. The pinnacle of KitKat's journey came in June of 1988 when Nestle acquired the brand through the acquisition of Roundtree. This strategic move granted Nestle global control over KitKat. But the funny thing is they had global control except for in the United States market. And the reason that happened is production would continue for Roundtree in the United States because they had to carry out the duration of the licensing agreement and they couldn't buy the rights to the licensing contract. The only way that they got it is if it ended up being sold.
I see. But
not to Nestle. So that was kind of interesting. They got everything except their home market, which is pretty funny. But in the end, Nestle was undeterred and they just amplified distribution efforts worldwide. They established new facilities in Japan and expanded manufacturing operations in Malaysia, India, and China because those Asian markets seemed to be the most profitable, and they were the most accepting to variations as well, as we'll see a little bit later on when we try some. The KitKat is renowned for its just classic structure of 4 fingers, and they call those blocks fingers. Obviously, there's the snack size ones that are just a little baby
Small
ones.
too.
There's the 2, there's the 4. There's so many variations. But it wasn't until the 1930s that the 2-fingered variant actually came about.
1930s?
Yeah. So it was early, and it quickly became the company's best-selling one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. People wanted a little bit less than 4. They wanted the 2.
Yeah, 2 is a new 4.
2 is a new 4, huh?
Some may say.
Somebody write that down. Don't write that down. Unless you do it in the comments. Like and subscribe. In 1999, the KitKat Chunky was introduced. You ever heard of that?
KitKat Chunky?
I think in the United States market, it's called like the Big Cat or KitKat Extra Crispy.
No.
I imagine it's like the king size, but I wasn't familiar with it either. It emerged as a single large finger.
Gross.
Yeah, with just
That's
one.
disgusting.
It's kind of gross to just describe them as fingers anyway.
You know what it reminds me of? You remember in like 2016, there was that picture going around of the guy who made the like fleshy, realistic Lego man.
Oh, yeah.
And he had his 2-finger thumb and 1-finger hand. That's what I picture when I think of the 1 finger.
Oh, man. What else could KitKat possibly call them other than fingers?
Boards?
Sections?
Sections?
Sticks?
Sticks? Yeah, a KitKat stick to me makes more sense.
I don't know why, but matches sounds cool.
Matches? Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like fingers kind of
gross.
It's kind of gross. I mean, other foods are referenced as fingers as well. Lady fingers but they chose this on purpose.
Yeah, this is kind of...
Yeah, they
need to investigate this, man.
We'll do a whole episode on why it's called fingers. It's disgusting.
Also, lock up the Lego guy, too.
Oh, lock him up for sure. If he's not already locked up. Check his hard drive.
Yeah, check it.
Okay, let's get back to this, huh? So, KitKat bars exhibiting varying amounts of fingers were very much dependent on the market and how, 1, open they were to sharing, and 2, how open they were to changes in taste. Because the taste would vary depending on how large the finger was.
Yeah, there had to be a weird ratio.
Right, exactly.
Wafer to chocolate there.
Some markets didn't really care.
They were just guzzling down the fingers.
Yeah, like
1, 2, 4, whatever.
It wasn't a size thing for like New Zealand, Australia, and America. Like they were just eating big ass Kit Kats.
America was eating the big Kit Kats?
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me. But New Zealand, Australia?
Yeah. They loved them some Kit Kats. There was a petite, and this won't surprise you either, there was a petite half-fingered Kit Kat in Japan. And then in Arabia, there was a 3-fingered version. And it's even in Australia and France, they released a limited edition 12-finger family size bar.
Okay. I don't know. Listen, you don't want too many like human fingers touching the Kit Kat fingers.
That's
Things
true,
start getting
No, this is one of those
wonky.
you put in the middle of the table and everybody just starts taking a finger off. Yeah.
I just put that one big one or that little mini petite.
No, I like the mental image of the one big one in the table.
I don't know how big it is. I picture the comically large Toblerone.
That's what I'm picturing too.
That's how big I picture.
Or like those insane gummy bears that it's like those
hold it like an infant?
gummy snakes too that are like that big.
Yeah, gross.
Yeah, that's what I'm picturing.
Who's eating these?
Somebody. I'm picturing something obnoxious like that too. But let's get back to Japan because that's kind of where the most interesting stories of Kit Kat lie. And that's kind of where we're moving in this episode as well. The Kit Kat first arrived in Japan in 1973. So significantly later than the start of the brand. And since then, the brand has become a staple in the country. In 2000, Nestle Japan, the manufacturer of Kit Kat, like we said, decided to release limited edition flavors. And since then, the number of flavors has continued to grow. Today, there are over 300 flavors available in Japan, with new ones being introduced regularly. One of the reasons behind the popularity of the Kit Kat in Japan is the cultural significance attached to the brand. KitKat is often given as a gift to students before exams. Do you know what it's called?
The KitKat?
Yeah. The gift to students before exams.
Oh, I probably should, huh?
Is it, I don't speak Japanese, but Kitokatsu?
Yeah, that sounds right. Kitokatsu?
Kitokatsu. And that translates to you will surely win. It's a popular expression in Japan and for these little gifts, which is very cool. In addition, the chocolate snack is also associated with good luck, making it a popular gift for various occasions such as weddings and New Year celebrations. These delectable treats are available in various packaging options, including individual bars, bags, boxes, multi-packs, catering to different preferences and occasions like every other candy. Nestle has extended beyond these KitKat bars a few times. They tried their hand in KitKat ice cream in various countries, KitKat drumsticks. They weren't super popular, but I feel like most of those, they aren't the only candy brand that has experimented with ice creams and things, and none of them are extremely popular.
No, the only two I can picture off the top of my head are the Snickers and the Twix.
Me too. That when I was thinking of them, I know there's some Crunch ones.
Well, there's probably several others. Those are the only two that I feel like I've seen in the last few years.
I think I've seen an Andes mint ice cream. Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of one of those things. It's like stay in your lane a little bit.
I used to obliterate some Twix ice cream bars for lunch in high school.
I used to obliterate the Snickers ones.
Man, we could have really done a number on our vending machine.
But I don't think I would eat a Kit Kat.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'd try it, but
yeah, maybe I spoke a little too soon. Maybe it's not a stay in your lane thing. I don't know. I haven't seen it a bunch in stores. Maybe I'm just not looking for it.
Is it still a thing?
They said it's still produced, so we'll have to look. In 2010, a new 5 million pound manufacturing line was opened by Nestle in New York. This will produce more than 1 billion Kit Kat bars each year.
My goodness.
Yeah. That kind of wraps up the conversation about the Kit Kat. At least from a history perspective, there's obviously a lot more we could get into for sake of time and in conversation and trying the bars that we have today. That's really the gist of it.
I will say in Japan, it is crazy to see the amount of Kit Kat flavors that are just out and about. Just everywhere. And the ones I brought back are the more popular ones, but there was some crazy flavors. One was like butter tree or something, and I had it in my hand to pay, but Japan is still a very cash based country, and I tried to always have cash on me, but I didn't have any at that time, so I didn't get it.
What was it called? Butter tree?
Butter tree or something along those lines. We can look it up, but I want to say it was called butter tree.
Interesting.
It was in a blue. That's what I thought of when you were talking about the blue.
Oh, I see.
But
when they have, what they say, over 300 flavors now,
yeah.
That's insane.
Every now and then here where we are, you can find them at like the different markets or even like World Market or something. I've seen orange, like the orange, blood orange, whatever it is.
I've seen matcha a lot.
I've seen matcha. So the cool thing is I've seen matcha here. Over there, they had matcha, and I brought one for us to try. They have matcha latte, which is a slightly sweeter version.
Okay. I'm interested. Should we get into it?
We can, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let's see what we got here.
All right, so I guess we can start with the matcha latte.
Yeah, I'm down.
Which, like I said, if you've had the matcha, which is, as far as like the more exotic flavors, I feel like the most popular that I've seen. So I am a huge fan of matcha.
Okay. I also enjoy matcha, but I feel like you're more of a connoisseur of it than I am.
Well, I really went in on all the matcha snacks when we were over there. And I don't know which one I like better, the matcha flavor or the matcha latte flavor. They're both
okay.
Good. The matcha latte is just a bit sweeter.
Okay, yeah, that was going to be my question. Is it like a creamier thing, like more milk-based? Or?
Well, even just visually, it's a lighter green.
Okay, we got 2 fingers.
We got 2 fingers, yeah.
2 small fingers. I'll get involved. Maybe we could have split one.
I guess we could have, but whatever.
It's good.
Yeah, no, I'm a fan. I ate like 2 bags of these while we were out there.
That's really good. It's not a strong matcha taste. Like I was expecting the aftertaste, you get the matcha.
So the one that's straight matcha, obviously, you get more of that flavor.
Right.
They're both phenomenal, in my opinion.
Okay. That's really good. I like matcha lattes, but I'm always hesitant, like matcha flavored things. because it can go like one or two directions for me.
So are you like, you don't like straight matcha? Like just the matcha powder mixed in
No.
hot water? No. Okay.
Or at least I haven't developed that taste yet. I don't think I've had enough of it, to be fair.
Okay.
No.
So one of the cool things I saw out there, this is a little side quest, but there was matcha shops that have like 7 different levels of matcha intensity.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
And usually in like ice cream or something. And we tried to get it like 3 times, but there's always a line. It's like I'm sure locals get it, but it's a very touristy thing.
Right.
There's always a line, so I didn't get to try, but
Okay.
I tried a bunch of other matcha stuff. I'm a huge matcha fan.
I feel like that would be the way I need to like experiment with it. Is like
Yeah.
figure out what level of intensity I like, or I would need to start making it like at home.
Another cool thing, in some of the cities we were in, the tables, like we went to, one of the places we went was a conveyor sushi belt,
Mm-hmm.
a conveyor belt sushi restaurant.
Right. Yeah.
And in the middle of the table, there's like 2 little doors that open up, and there's matcha powder, and you have a spout of hot water.
Okay.
You can make as much matcha as you want.
That's cool.
Sick.
Damn. I'm gonna have to up my matcha game.
Next flavor, which is an interesting flavor, I think, is milk tea. So it was very cold while we were there, and the vending machines out there, they have vending machines everywhere. There's usually a section. Usually it's you can tell what's cold and hot. Cold will have a blue light, obviously, and hot will have a red. And it was super cold and windy, and my wife and I, we were averaging like 4 hot milk teas a day just to warm us. I'm a fan of milk tea, so I think the KitKats are great.
I know I've had milk tea before. Is there a difference between these?
No, so those are interesting because you'll get a bag of these,
Okay.
and they're all like there's green, blue, tan, red, maroon, whatever.
Split one this time.
Sure.
This one's really good for me.
You like this one?
Yeah.
Good. You can have that other one I brought.
Hey, you're a good man. Yeah, I like this one a lot.
Mm-hmm.
This one tastes like cereal milk.
Yeah, it kind of does. I've seen these a few times in town, but it's very hit or miss.
Yeah.
But you may be able to find them.
Or this one legitimately tastes like Fruit Loop cereal milk for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it kind of does.
That's really good. Yeah, that one. I like that one more than the matcha, but I could eat more of the matcha one.
These are a little sweeter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This one feels more like a candy.
The last one I have, it's called KitKat Gold. Our friend who we went visit in Japan told us it was caramel, I believe.
Okay.
My wife and I ate it. It's very good. I don't know if it's caramel or not.
Okay.
I don't know what it is.
We'll get to the bottom of it.
I'm not calling her a liar. I believe her. I just feel like there's more.
All right, I will say this KitKat Gold is my favorite wrapper so far.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. But
Which is funny because it's the most similar to the original KitKat.
oh, well, there you go. I'm basic.
No. I mean, it sometimes less is more.
Okay. Hey, there you go. Caramel, you said. Inside source is told you caramel.
Yes.
Okay. Let's get to the bottom of it. But it just says gold. What if it's real gold?
It'd be crazy if it was.
Okay, this is interesting. Let me show the people this, huh?
Now, while I was out there, another big thing in Japan is they have these little capsule machines, gachapon machines, whatever you want to call it. And Kyle and I were discussing the topic and what we were going to do and narrowing it all down. And we had landed on KitKat. And I don't know, it was probably about halfway through the trip when I texted you that there was a whole KitKat capsule toy machine. And I got you, I guess, the keychain.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what flavor it was.
It's whole wheat.
Oh, is it whole wheat?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I would have to agree that it is caramel, but there's no caramel in it. It's caramel flavor.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe so. You like it?
Yeah, it's really good. I still think I'd pick the milk tea over any of them, but I feel like they're all like for different times, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like this one's the most dessert like of any of them. The milk tea obviously gave me flashbacks of breakfast, but the matcha one I feel like I could just
So
throw
this
back.
one was my wife's favorite,
Oh, this one, the gold.
which is why there's only one that I brought instead of 2.
Okay. I respect that.
My favorite was, I bounced back and forth. The matcha and the matcha latte were my 2 favorites. I ate all the matcha, so that's on me.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
It is what it is.
But I thought they were all great. I mean, again, I don't eat. I don't know the last time I ate a KitKat back home.
Right. Yeah. I was just about to say, when's the last time have you had like an actual KitKat?
13 years.
I don't know if I mean, I've had one more recent than that, but I don't know. Like, I would choose these flavors over a traditional KitKat.
Right. Yes.
100%.
All the flavors, and just off the top of my head, I mean, they had melon flavor. They had a cheesecake flavor, which was really good.
That does sound good, actually.
There was one, if I'm not mistaken, that they like had you could bake it or something.
You could make it.
You could bake it.
Oh, bake it. Okay. That makes more sense.
Make it too if you want.
Just at home. They just give you
They
all
just
the
give you the
ingredients for the
ingredients.
KitKat, and you have to do all the work.
But now my wife is a bigger fan of KitKats in general, and I know around Halloween she'll get the ones that are they almost look like they glow in the dark. You know what I'm talking about? Maybe it's white chocolate, but they're like greenish.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
She eats those, but even as much as she loves KitKat, she doesn't often grab those at the grocery store.
Yeah, I'm still at the grocery store. I'm still like a tradition. If I ever get a candy bar, which is kind of rare to begin with, it's a milk chocolate Hershey bar.
Oh, really?
Or it's the cookies and cream Hershey bar.
Yeah.
That's it, which we need to do both of those.
We'll get to them.
Yeah.
I do have one more thing
Sure.
that I brought.
All right.
So I vaguely mentioned that there was a Scandinavian competitor. And we won't go super deep into the history, but I believe it was introduced into the world 2 years after the KitKat.
I think that's correct, yeah.
And another little fun fact, this is the Norwegian quick lunch. This is the full size. This is 4 fingers. One of the things I thought was the coolest, it's a big thing, you eat these while you're hiking. So inside the label, they apparently have either a recommendation or a little guide map to a mountain trail. So this is just milk chocolate. I mean, we can try it and then...
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'll try it. So that's in Scandinavian countries, correct?
Yes. Very popular in Norway. And I don't know its extent. We can do maybe a mini episode on it or something.
Yeah, I did read. I read a little bit whenever I was doing some of the KitKat research as well, but it's like a whole nother rabbit hole to go down.
Yes.
So it probably is worth its own episode, but it is definitely 100% worth bringing up this episode because of how big of a competitor it is to KitKat. And I did see that of all the tests that were run between the two, everybody preferred this over KitKat.
For the plain milk chocolate flavor, I prefer these. I don't know if there's maybe a slightly different ratio of chocolate to wafer. I don't know what it is. Part of it could be that I went to Norway on my honeymoon.
Right.
And I ate these over there, so maybe it's nostalgia. I don't know. I'm interested to see what you think.
Yeah.
I will say there is the little recommendation for a hike. I can't read it because
that's cool.
It's in Norwegian. And there's on each finger there's little kiwi birds. I don't know why, but there's that. Now I've never found these here. A lady who I don't know works with my wife or whatever. Her son lives in Norway right now, and shipped these to us. Maybe break you off a finger. See what you think.
Yeah, let me get a little finger action. Finger for you, finger for me.
Finger me, daddy.
Just fingered you. It's closer than I thought it was going to be. The Nestle chocolate tastes closer to real like milk chocolate. This has like a very much like a little hazelnut taste to it in my mind. Like similar to Nutella.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's really good.
I don't know if there is hazelnut in it.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's really good. I mean, I don't know if I would care if I got one or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd eat them both.
I will say, now this has been, Jesus Christ, I don't know, 6 years since we were on a honeymoon. I assume it's the same thing now, but there was shelves full of these. They love them. With good reason. I mean, they're fantastic.
It's delicious. Yeah. I have no bad things to say about it. If I had to rate both of them out of 10, they would be within like half a point of each other.
Yeah. I thought it was worth mentioning.
Yeah.
We'll do an episode.
I appreciate you bringing all that. That was really good. And I'll put all the pictures and videos up for people to see them as well. That's all I've got for this episode. Do you have anything else?
That's it.
Cool. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in for the first ever podcast episode for Tasting Through Time. If you have any snacks or drinks or, I mean, really anything. I hate to say anything you could put in your body because like that kind of goes, that's like a deep rabbit hole. But
we'll try it out.
Yeah, if you have anything you want to see, whether it be drinks, cocktails, beer, wine, food, snacks, chocolate, whatever, put it in the comments. We'll look up the history. If it's boring, we'll tell you that your comment was stupid. And then we'll move on to something more important. So, yeah, thanks for listening. We really do appreciate it. Thanks for watching, wherever you check it out. I mean, if you're listening on Spotify, go to YouTube and check out the video if you want.
Yep.
But we'll be available everywhere. Appreciate all of you, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.